Hey all, I wanted to jump on for a minute before we start the video and let you know that I goofed. So, as part of tweaking my OBS settings, I unfortunately messed with some of the quality and messed with some of the audio. And due to that, this episode has some problems with its settings. Now, normally I would think about redoing this and basically re-recording it, but the more I thought about it, the more I want this video to just be honest. And I want it to be a legitimate thing where I don't go back and redo any parts, and that it's what you see is what you get. So due to that, everything in here is the first time doing it, and some of it is, well, terrible. Straight up terrible. So, thank you for your patience, and on with the show. Hey, everybody. I am OverHugs, and welcome to episode 2 of our Let's Play series. Today, in our episode, we're going to do a couple of things. First off, we're going to take the iron that we discovered from caving and make ourselves a set of iron armor so we can get out of just this lovely suit and actually have some defense for monsters. Second of all, we're going to build a starter house with just some basics to it and some storage. It won't be much for now, but it'll be home sweet home until we find our forever home, wherever that is in this world. And then third off, we're going to build a basic steak and leather farm. And, hi. You want to be in the shot, Mr. Sheep? That's fine. I don't think you want to be the food, but yeah, okay. Thanks for coming. I could always use a co-host. So here we go. Let's go to this furnace and check it out. Fuel, so we'll just let that go and smelt. And we will make ourselves a set of iron armor. So make ourselves a helmet, make ourselves a chest plate, make ourselves some boots, and I don't think we quite have enough to do leggings, but we can now equip these, and you'll see we'll get another advancement of suiting up, and we have most of our iron armor. As soon as this gets done, we'll be able to make leggings. We also have some crops here that are coming up, so let's take a minute and harvest those. As long as you harvest them with a tool, you'll get extra seeds, which are of course super handy, because now that we have more seeds, we can go through and we can replant, and we can completely fill this in, which will of course give us more to harvest the next time that it comes around, as well as if we still had a hoe, if it hadn't broken. So we'll make ourselves a hoe. So let's complete what we were doing before and make ourselves some leggings, and now we have a complete set of armor. Look at us. We're all shiny. Woo! So in addition, let's make a hoe, because we want to expand our farmland, and that's the only way that you can change regular grass or dirt into places that you can plant specific crops. Wheat, beetroots, potatoes, carrots all require that you complete the land this way. Sugarcane doesn't. Sugarcane you can just plant on either sand or on grass as long as it's right by water here. And we'll probably explore today and try and find some of that since it's not in the immediate area. But now we've got our armor. Now we've got our tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves an iron axe as well. And then we'll go and chop down some trees. Axe. Can never find it when you need it. So axes, the different quality just basically gives you durability and speed, up to a specific point. Some things at lower levels of tools you get insta-mining. Some things you need enchantments for. Largely, the biggest jump of durability is going from iron to diamonds. It's pretty gigantic. But there's another level beyond diamonds that we haven't talked about yet called netherite. And netherite is something new in 1.16, and we won't be seeing that for a while. because we need to both go to the nether and get enough resources in order to mine out specific areas, and a decent amount of it. So look for that in a future episode. In the words of Alton Brown, that's another show. So I'm going to pause this for a bit and get enough wood of different types so we can build our basic house. So back in a moment. Alright folks, as you can see, we've cleared out the top of the hill here. I like the view of both the river and having a nice little pond here, and we're at a pretty nice place in between a birch forest, a dark oak forest, and a decent amount of water. Also over there we have a variety of trees and flowers, so this is a really nice spot. So I think we're going to start building a house here, and this... You again? Really? Really? You really just want to be in my shot, don't you? Alright. Thank you. Thank you. You'll be a star one day. So I think we'll build a pretty simple 2-story house, and I think this would be best done in a time-lapse. So we are going to jump directly into time-lapse here. But one thing I noticed as soon as I started walking around is we had some illagers spawn and come after us. You can see him at the very top of the screen right now, and that guy with the banner coming right at me. Illagers are a new mechanic that was added in the Illager, Pillager, and Villager update. It may have just been the Villager and Pillager update. But what they do is they will spawn and they will come after you. If you kill a captain, who is the one with the banner, you get a debuff, which is called voluntary exile. And what that will do is that will trigger a raid if you get into a village. We haven't come across villages yet, but this came up and I wanted to show it in real time in the interest of being honest with you folks. So we're just cleaning up a bit here. I actually have my shield up, but you can't see it right now because of the replay in replay mod. So all we're going to do is we're going to kill the remainder of the illagers here that come along, and then we'll jump right into our time lapse. So, here we have a house. 2 things I think we can learn from this. 1, it's always better to have all the materials you need before you get started, as noticed by my constant going back and forth and getting trees. And 2, placing stairs is hard. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, because the next thing to do with our house is a little bit of detailing. What we want to do is go and get a little bit of sand, because it would be nice to be able to make some glass. And our shovel is pretty much broken. So let's make another one of those, expecting it to break on us. And we're going to go and get some sand from the river. Generally, an easy place early game to get sand is anywhere where there is a river or a desert. We are nowhere near a desert, so that's not going to be very helpful to us. And one interesting thing to note is you can see the difference in our digging speed between when we're standing on 1 block of water and when we're more than that. Like, we dig basically instantly with this shovel, and the second we go down more than 1 block, you see it gets much slower. This is built into the game, and there are ways that you can fix this with enchants, which that's another show. So let's hop over here and we'll start smelting that sand. If you put sand in a furnace, it turns into glass. And glass can be made into regular glass, stained glass through the use of dyes, or you can turn it into glass panes. So we have here a glass. Wow, that's an interesting thing with the data pack. So this is transparent glass. Glass can only be picked up with Silk Touch, so you see if I try and mine this, it breaks. Silk Touch is an enchant that we'll end up getting in probably one of our first, because it's one of the most useful. It lets you pick up any blocks that are considered fragile. Glass is definitely one of those. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to detail this off camera, and you can see some of the things that get done in order to make a house look a little complete, because there's quite a bit that goes into it. You really want to add more depth and texture, and I definitely did not go for aesthetics when making this house. It's more of the thought of what a person would find while they were going through here. This is largely a birch forest, so quite a bit of birch wood goes in here. So I'm going to detail this up a little bit, and then we'll be back. So we went out searching for some wool and just happened to come across some cows. Since part of this episode is going to be building a cow farm, figured we'll just bring them back here. I just didn't want it to be all of a sudden where people saw cows appearing and went, hey, where did those come from? So legitimately went out and found them, and now we're slowly walking them back to the house. It's very easy to lose them, as you can see. So we have to be careful that we walk them, and if the sheep really wants to come too, it absolutely can. Alright, so we lured our farm animals back to the house, and we built a quick little pen for them out of fences and fence gates so they can't get away, and we'll deal with them a little bit later. So we've finished our house, as you can see, and the detailing is complete. On the right, you'll see a couple of more cows and sheep and everything. And we created a path using a shovel in order to get to them. We needed the sheep largely for wool, and we'll need a lot of leather, but that's another episode. So going around, you figure the person's going to be walking this path a lot. And outside the door, we've created these bushes. And you can see we've hidden torches underneath them, which is a very common trick in order to get light out of the way and not make it obvious. Above the door, we use some trapdoors and carpets to make an awning, and we've also used more trapdoors in order to create the illusion of shutters. So looking in through the window, and under that you can just see like a quick little flower garden, and we've used some coarse dirt here that won't be taken over by grass in order to add a little bit more texture to it. And we'll probably replace all that with coarse dirt going further along when we continue detailing, because this isn't quite done yet. So walking around here, we gathered up a bunch of clay from the river, and we use that in order to make these bricks for the chimney that you see. So this is all, you fire it in a furnace, and then you get bricks, and you can make the brick blocks. And we've put down some campfires inside and put them on haystacks in order for the smoke to go all the way to the top. Coming around the back, we created a bit of a deck here, using these cobblestone walls for pillars, and then interleaving a couple of different kinds of stone, cobblestone and andesite, in order to give it more texture. So walking around finally here, there's just a bush on the side, and we're using leaves to create the illusion, more shutters, and a little rose bush that we gathered just for a little bit of extra color. So let's go inside. We have a little trap door right there. That's not a trap door. But I like to use the kind of inside piece right there as the crafting table, so I always have access to it. That's a pressure plate. Pressure plates automatically trigger doors. Yes, that's how that works. Little shelf there for somebody to throw in their stuff as they walk in. A painting on the wall. It's just a craftable item, bed, and then we've put carpet on the floor and used wool as well. You can knock away the carpet and you see that we've hidden some torches underneath that, which is one way that that you can get light. So that's why this room is so lit up with so few light sources. But you can see the differences in the texture when we have the wool blocks there, and it's a little bit of difference in level too. So it just gives it some more depth. It makes it a bit more real because a completely flat thing is there. So here we have a little table and chair with a fish that somebody is eating for dinner, a little cauldron, another painting, and a little chair that sits right next to the fire. We use some stairs in order to give the fireplace a bit more texture, and you can see the hay bales underneath those. that are causing the smoke to rise up so high as we saw outside. A couple of different kinds of stone, a polished stone and stone brick, again, just for more texture and variety. So now that that's done, you can see as well the trapdoors that we've used in order to create, again, a bit more depth, kind of like that's a ledge. Let's go upstairs. And upstairs is just some basic storage and a working area. So some barrels, some furnaces, crafting table, and you see that we've put these item frames on there, and you can put any item you want within the item frame, and it's a good way to label what your storage is going to be. So you see we have things that are dirt, things that are wood, things that are wool, and things that are stone. And this is a very rudimentary storage system. It will quite rapidly grow into a chest monster if we don't get control of it. But don't worry, we'll just throw stuff in here manually for now, and then when we find our forever home, there will be a much better permanent storage. Little barrel that I was saying earlier, again, just for a little more flavor, doesn't really serve much of a purpose otherwise. And let's go outside to our deck. And you see a little chair and table that we can sit on and enjoy our lovely view. So finally, let's make our steak farm. And in order to do that, we're going to need a dispenser. And a dispenser takes a bow, which we haven't crafted yet. So you see that we already had one from running out in the night, but it's nice to have one to fend off creepers so they don't get too close. So we'll make our dispenser. And in order to do that, we need cobblestone, a bow, and a piece of redstone. And you see that we don't have enough cobblestone, so let's get some. And let's craft our dispenser. Dispensers are our first piece of legitimate redstone, where this is part of what we'll do in order to do automation further along, but that's another episode. So one of the cool things that you can see about this is it has its own inventory, and you can put stuff in it. So we've put in an arrow, and now if we get a button and put a button on the side in order to activate it, it will shoot that arrow. And this is the difference between a dispenser and a dropper. A dropper will just put it on the ground, it just drops it. Whereas dispensers will actually put things out, or in certain items, like what we're going to use, they will put things out or put them back in. So let's take our bucket that we just made and go and get some water. So we can take the water that we just got, put it in the dispenser, and now watch what happens. It dispenses the water. And if you look behind us, as the water goes away, it is run down all over our farm. This is also a way that you can harvest farms, but that's another episode. So we'll just whine about that and lament that we shouldn't have done that, but who cares? So mining this up, you see that we picked up the dispenser and we also got the bucket too. So you don't lose items when you mine up things like that with an inventory, which is very handy because otherwise I would lose things all the time. Alright, so now in order to create our farm, we're going to need another item which is called a hopper. And hoppers are iron and a chest. And the cool thing about hoppers is it's similar to a dispenser in that it has its own inventory. But it also has some extra things about it, which we'll see as soon as we clear this area, because this is where we're going to build our farm. So we're going to create a chest, and then we're going to take our hopper, and we're going to shift-click it into the chest. And you see the arrow, which I have here, which is a data pack that shows directionality. It shows the hopper is leading into the chest, and you see as we throw things and actually hit the hopper, they disappear. They don't hit the ground. And as we open up this chest, we see the hopper's inventory. We should have opened up the hopper first. And then we open up the chest, and you will see the items that have gone into the hopper have been transported through the hopper into the chest. And this is functionality that we will use a lot. This is very basic item flow, and it's used in the vast majority of farms that you'll see. So we're going to use our dispenser with our water trick that we had before, and we'll surround this with dirt in order to create the farm itself. And what we want to do is we want to create the hole around the hopper here and have it be 1 block across and 2 blocks high. And what's going to happen is we're going to put our cows in here. And why we're going to do that is to take advantage of something that is called entity cramming. But you see, if I put a solid block over this chest, I can't open it. I need to use an opaque or a half block in order to make that work. And what do we know that's an opaque block? Yes, let's go get some glass. Glass will also let us see what's going on here. So now you've seen the basic construction of the farm. I'm going to jump forward until where it's complete. Alright, and now we've created our little farm, and we're going through and created a little bit of fencing in order to get the cows into it in the first place. It's a little difficult to get them into a one block, and we're going to pretend that the wholesale slaughter of the sheep just didn't happen, because we don't want sheep in there. This is a cow farm, not a sheep farm. Now, this will take a little bit of a while. If we had leads, we could do this a little faster. But since we don't, I'm going to do this off camera. But you see, we've got a few in there already, and it's just a matter of getting them to fall in that little hole. So we've had a bit of luck. While waiting for the cows to breed, and after getting them all in the hole, we decided to go out and explore a little bit. And after finding a ravine, jumped down, heard a lot of zombie noises, and looked down the hallway and saw cobblestone. Now, cobblestone only naturally generates under one condition, and that is a monster spawner, which we see in front of us. You can see the little zombie swirling around. And I'm lighting it up so that it won't continuously spawn mobs, because otherwise it will. It'll spawn them from 1 to 4 at a time, and as long as you're within 16 blocks of the spawner, it will spawn it. And we get treasure along with that. So let's see what's in these chests, and wow, it's really good. A golden apple, a name tag, a ton of bones, some iron, some redstone, and there was a saddle in there as well. So let's quickly light everything up, because we don't want any creepers sneaking up on us, and claim all this. Now, this is a great treasure for this early in the game, and I promise you I didn't go looking for this. This was completely accidental. We also found a music disc, which is not something you find that often. And you need a player, a jukebox, in order to play them, and we don't have the resources for that now, but we will definitely do that later. Golden apple is one of the best foods you can have. Not only does it give you some regeneration, which is fantastic, it also provides a little bit of protection. So it's a great food in case of major emergency. So let's get out of here right now, and we'll come back to the spawner in another episode, but it will be soon, since that's a very happy discovery. So just to bring you up to speed about a couple of the things we did off camera, while we were wandering, we found some sugarcane. We've talked about this in the past, and we're definitely going to need it to get a lot of paper, but that's another episode. We also made some changes to our house, as you saw there for a second, where we use stripped wood instead of regular logs. If you right-click a tree, then it will strip the log, and you get rid of the bark, and it gives you a better texture. I'm much happier with the way the house looked. It was a little zebra-ish before, and now it looks much better. So, definitely enjoying that. We also made a change where we replaced the doors with iron doors. We are playing on hard, and zombies can break down wooden doors. They can't break down iron doors. This does require a trigger in order to open it. You can't just open it yourself. So you see I'm right-clicking there and it's doing nothing. So we've thrown this button here that we can click in order to open the door. And the pressure plate on the other side will open it from the inside. So let's go back outside and we can finish up the farm and show everybody how it works. If you look in the chest already, we have some resources we've gathered as part of this, and let's show how it's used. You hit the pressure plate, that causes the dispenser to dispense water, and all the cows are bobbing up and down on that water on the surface. They're held by that post so they can't escape. Now we're making use of something called entity cramming here, where you can only have 25 of any entity, whether that's a mob or an animal or anything like that, and you see as new ones are being generated from us feeding them, older ones are dying. So we don't have to kill these. All we have to do is feed them every 5 minutes. And then now when we click down, you'll see there's a lot more of the calves, the little cows that are in there, and we've gathered up more resources. The game prioritizes killing off the older, mature cows and leaving the babies, which is good for the game. I guess that makes sense. But this is how our farm functions. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to kill them, which is great. So I want to take a minute and thank you again for watching. This concludes our episode of our Let's Play. And just a reminder that anything that I profit off of this, I'm donating to local food banks. So please take a minute to like, subscribe, ring the bell, refer this to a friend, send up smoke signals, or any other way that you'd like to share it if you're enjoying it. I've been OverHugs, and I want to thank you and remind you to help out your fellow humans whenever you can. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.